Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Colonial Sports Center. My name is Samuel Goldberg, and I'm joined by Cameron McCarley-Ola. Cam, I understand you're going through a flu game.
Yeah, I'm like Hurts and Mahomes, not 100%, but I'm going to push through and keep playing through this.
Hey, I respect it, man. I respect it. But we have a jam-packed action show for you. But before we get into that, the men's team was just in action up at the UPMC Event Center. Let's see how they fared against the NKU Norse. And unfortunately, they fell short to the Norse. It was a close game throughout, but unfortunately, the NKU Norse just pulled ahead. Marquez Warwick had 21 points and 4 assists. Chris Brandon, 10 points, 12 rebounds. Something that's not on there is Trey Robinson with 13. Enoch Cheeks had 20 and 3 steals. Bill Spears, a double-double, with 17. And Josh Corbin had 9 points.
Yeah, really good game by the Colonials. They tried to continue their win streak. They had won 3 games in a row before this game. They just unfortunately couldn't pull it out. Well, over at the UPMC Event Center, Ethan Morrison is there live to talk more about tonight's game. Ethan, take it away.
Thank you, Cam. Well, yes, Robert Morris tonight was coming into this game against Northern Kentucky with a 3-game win streak, but unfortunately, like Sam mentioned, they fell to the Norse tonight by a final score of 65-52. Now, for Robert Morris, it was a very rough game for Robert Morris, especially handling the ball. 19 total turnovers, 9 of them came in the first half, and then things in the second half, it looked to take a little bit of a turn. Robert Morris came into the second half only down 5 points. Khalil Spear with a buzzer beater to end the first half, only down 5, went on a 5-0 run to open up the second half of play, took a 1-point lead, which forced the Norse to call a timeout. And then after that, it looked like Robert Morris was starting to turn the page there, was handling the ball a lot better, and the Norse started coughing up the ball a little bit there midway through the second half. But really towards that end of the game, Robert Morris just started to turn the ball over more and more, and the Norse at the Under 4 Media went on a 13-0 run to really put this game away and coast to a 13-point victory. Now, just looking at some of the numbers, Marquez Warwick went 7 for 18 from the field, 2 for 9 from beyond the arc, scored 21 points in this one. He was the leading scorer for the Norse. He paced the Norse there. Khalil Spear, finished with 17 points. Enoch Cheeks with 20. He paced all scorers on Robert Morris with those 20 points today, but the Colonials will have to have a short memory after tonight's game, as they're going to have to pick things right back up on Saturday. But just an overall sloppier performance after it really started to seem like Robert Morris was starting to turn the page there with those 2 games against Detroit Mercy and Oakland. So we'll be interested to see how they bounce back on Saturday evening. Let's send it back to the guys in the studio.
Thanks so much, Ethan. Earlier today, the women's basketball team was in action against Cleveland State. Could the Lady Colonials de-ship the Vikings? Let's find out. Unfortunately, the Colonials weren't able to get it done, falling to the Vikings 61-43. Destiny Leo had 30 points, shooting 10 of 17 from the floor for Cleveland State. And Cam, this game, a lot of adversity the Colonials had to face.
Yeah, tough situation for them. Only 7 active players in this game available for the Colonials. Every single one of them got over 20 minutes, and Amelia led the way with 38 minutes, meaning she only got 2 minutes off the court the entire game. Tough situation for the Colonials there. Well, before that game, the Colonials faced Wright State Raiders, the 2-19 Wright State Raiders. Let's see how they fared in this matchup. We're going to take it off early in the game in the first quarter. We're going to start off with a Bryce Nixon 3 over Rebecca Duomo. Bryce Nixon would go 2 for 8 from 3, and we're about to see her only other 3-pointer in that game, with a little bit of contact from Phoenix Gideon. Boom, putting up the Wright State Raiders up by double digits. They would not look back from there. Vuletic would get a bounce pass to Mostrol for an easy layup here, trying to cut the lead down for the Colonials, but not enough there, as Wright State would come down, hit another 3 by Isabel Boldener. Vuletic would then have a Joel Embiid-esque 3. She's been using her 3-point shot lately so far this season. Last year only had 3 all year, and she's had a lot recently from downtown. But Wright State would come back with another easy layup, up 40-15 going into the half. In the second half, Wright State continued right where they left off by Akara Van Kempen 3. Down 66-28, Volatic with another 3 in this game. Look at her shooting from beyond the arc. She's doing really good so far this season from beyond the arc. A bounce pass by Mostral would get the Colonials down 70, but they would play hard till the final buzzer where they would fall 83-49. Worst loss in conference history.
The men's basketball team was also in action this past weekend as they played 2 games this weekend. Let's take a look at the first between Detroit Mercy. Let's grab a look at the first half highlights here, starting off with MG3 running down the court. Will try to go for the layup, fortunately can't. Antoine Goodwin gets the ball in his hands, and you know, Antoine Goodwin, man, whenever he's open, he's going to bang a 3 just like that right there. Antoine Goodwin had 29 points on the day, first of many 3s in the game. Our next highlight, Antoine Goodwin, again, Mr. Showtime, Mr. Primetime, Antoine Goodwin, dribbling down the floor, crosses up Enoch Cheeks, and absolutely bangs home the 3. Next, MG3 passed it over to Cheeks, the spear in the post, who gets it out to Mr. Automatic, Josh Corbin for 3.
Yeah, deep 3 shot by Corbin there. He's been excellent so far this season from beyond the arc.
Into the second half we go. Colonials up by 3. Pass to Mayers, out to MG3, who will knock down the 3 from top of the key. That's why he has the 3 in MG3. Next highlight, MG3 pass to Khalil Spear, who posters a would-be defender down low. Khalil Spear had a monster game.
Yeah, right on top of his head.
MG3, 76-70. MG3, top of the key. Dribbling it around, looking, shot clock going down. Gets the ball back. Hits an NBA range type of 3. That shot right there would seal the deal for Robert Morris as they beat Detroit Mercy by a score of 85-77. It was a action-packed game, that game between Detroit Mercy and the Colonials.
Yeah, it was a star-studded matchup between Khalil Spear and Antoine Davis. You were saying Antoine Goodwin, Antoine Davis.
I don't know why I'm saying Goodwin.
Let's take a look at these numbers, each over 35 minutes. 29 points for Davis, 25 for Spear. Some excellent shooting in the game. A lot of chances by Davis, missing a couple of them below 50%, while Khalil Spear was efficient with 10 for 14 from field goal.
And when we come back here on Colonial Sports Center, we'll break down the Khalil Spear. He had a monster weekend, and also we'll stand by with Ethan Morrison again, who's at the UPMC Event Center. All that and more right after this.
Thirty. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Let's CHC women's basketball.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free. If it's one
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're going to send it back to the UPMC Event Center where Ethan Morrison has more following Andy Toole's press conference. Ethan, what did we hear?
Yeah, Cam. Yeah, I spoke to head coach Andy Toole after the game in his post-game press conference, and he stressed a lot about mindset and the mindset of the team. Obviously, after this loss, it's a tough loss for the team to swallow, especially after the success that they enjoyed over the past several games, especially winning those first 2 games of the 4-game homestand against Oakland and Detroit Mercy. But he just stressed that, the team cannot feel sorry for themselves. And at times tonight, the body language kind of lacked at times when they were slow to get up the floor or had some breakdowns on the defensive end. Not really thinking too much there, but they're going to have to shift their gears quickly heading into Saturday and really bounce back. He said that the team prepared well coming to this one, had a great practice on Thursday, but just not the effort that he was looking for tonight in the loss. But for Wright State comes to town on Saturday. They just lost in triple overtime to Youngstown State at the Beagley Center tonight. Final score of that one, Youngstown State pulled it out 91-89. So Wright State, the Raiders, they will be here in Moon Township Saturday evening with a 7 p.m. tip. If you remember, way back in the beginning of December, Robert Morris went into the Nutter Center to defeat Wright State in emphatic fashion to open up Horizon League play. So they're going to have to find some of that magic once again with the Raiders coming into town Saturday evening. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Ethan. And as I alluded to earlier, the Colonials had an action-packed weekend this past week, and they had 2 games. Let's take a look at the second game as they played the Oakland Grizzlies. Let's grab a look at the highlights first here in the first half. This was the Khalil Spear career day. And on the first play, you got Josh Corbin dribbling up the floor. He swings it over to Enoch Cheeks, who finds Khalil Spear in the corner for a Peter Griffin corner 3 to start off the ball game. Next, Khalil Spear in the post absolutely destroys his defender and slams it down with authority. Incredible, but coming right back was Oakland's top player, Jalen Moore, hitting an NBA range type of 3 to stop the momentum play from Spear. MG3 now with it. Over to Mr. Automatic, Josh Corbin, who fires back with another NBA range 3. Then probably one of my favorite player names, Rocket Watts, comes back down, hits a 3 of his own, just absolutely launched it from 3-point range. And at the end of the half, sticking with the play, was Stephon Walker. He gets it over to MG3 to Khalil Spear for the jam as the seconds were ticking down at the end of the first half. Let's move on now to the second half. All the way down to Josh Corbin in the corner, and he's obviously automatic from the corner, hitting that 3 to extend the lead to 8. But the Oakland wasn't done yet as Townsend made a nice post move to get to the basket to cut the lead to 7. But on the following play, Khalil Spear heat check for 3. An absolutely dominating performance from Khalil Spear. He was all over the place on the defensive end. But Oakland wouldn't go away, as that was a Hervey 3 from the corner. Now MG3 from the top of the key would put it in to seal the deal, as the Colonials would beat the Golden Grizzlies by a score of 60-63. Let's take a look.
One thing my teammates know they're going to get from me all the time is my all. I'm always give my all on the court. I think the numbers are starting to show a little more because I'm in more of a rhythm. And I've seen it happened the same last year. I was talking to my dad about this, where I started the season off a little slow, and then around this time of the year, I started to hit my stride.
What a phenomenal performance by Khalil Spear. Earlier this week, Bethany Naughton sat down with 2 of our basketball experts, Ethan Morrison and Michael Deemer, to discuss about Khalil Spear's ridiculous performances.
Hi, I'm Bethany Naughton, and I'm here with my basketball analysts, Ethan Morrison and Michael Deemer. How are you both today?
Good, Bethany, good.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
So as you both know, Khalil Spear had a massive weekend, helping the Colonials defeat the Detroit Mercy and Oakland. And he also reached his career high of 30 points and also joining the 1,000-point club and 500 rebounds. So let's break down his weekend.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been rewarding for Khalil Spear to get a career high of 30 points. Definitely see some wins roll out for them. They had a massive week. They had a massive game against Green Bay. Now they have a bunch of home games coming up rest of the way. And just to see a lot of wins come about. Obviously, Detroit Mercy is a tough team with Antoine Davis on that roster. You see against Oakland. Oakland's a very tough team as well. They now have a 3-game win streak entering Thursday. So it's definitely been rewarding to see him get that 1,000-point mark, get that 500 rebound mark, 30-point marker as well. So just to see the reward pay off for him going into possibly hosting a home playoff game the rest of the way in the season.
Yeah, I think what what Michael said is something that, it's a very rewarding weekend for Colonial Spear and what he was able to do. But also, when you also look at it, how in the fashion that he was able to do it, how he was just able to take over. The Colonials struggled with shooting the ball for parts of that game, and Spear was just able to take over in crucial parts of that game to really push Robert Morris over the edge against Detroit Mercy and even against Oakland on Sunday. And just his ability to score the ball anywhere on the floor. We saw him stretch the floor a number of times against Oakland on Sunday, really make his presence known from the outside. Probably not something Oakland coach Greg Campy was looking at in film coming into this game. It was Spear hitting from the outside, but he was able to do that. So just the versatility of what he was able to do on Friday coming into Sunday, and those individual accolades were also huge for him as well, being the 27th member of breaking 1,000 points at Robert Morris, the first since Josh Williams did it back in 2019, and also joining the 500 rebound club earlier in the season, being the 14th member of that class to hit 1,000 points and 500 rebounds. So just an overall amazing weekend for Spear and also for the Colonials just to be able to stack crucial wins together, especially with them being at home for a large majority of the second half of the Horizon League slate.
Now, as you both know, Colonial Spear has been part of the RMU basketball team for the past 3 years. How do you think he's impacted the team?
Coming in from Bucknell from the Patriot League, going into the Horizon League, it's definitely a fresh start for him, but it was also a fresh start for the program as well. Coming from the NEC conference, they won the conference tournament, but then COVID happened. So it's definitely a fresh slate for the program as well. He was a very raw prospect coming in, and then he has started to develop ever since then. He now can shoot the three ball well, definitely something that NEC wanted to see. A lot of, horizons broken for him, having a fresh slate, having now 1,000 points and 500 rebounds. He's now starting to come to his own. He's been the captain for this team ever since he came here. He is also a very smart man. Also, he was all national honors when it comes academically. So, a captain on this team, also a captain for this program as well for the past 3 years. So, helping all the players develop as well.
I think he's really settled into his role very, very nicely over these past couple of seasons. First one got off to a rocky start, not having his waiver, approved coming into the season. So he had to sit out for a little bit, then getting a jump into conference play in his first season. But really after that, he's just been able to grow and mature and develop as a player and also as a leader on the court. I think one of the big things that he has been able to do is really bring a full roster together. We saw in years past players leave in the middle of the season and that culture not really being built, but with Spear in the program for now 3 seasons, we really saw in this third season what he's been able to do in this third season, both individually and as a leader on and off the floor. It's just been really special to see. We really see him, coming into his own and really showing the person who he is. We see him signing autographs after the games, seeing him, take control, take ownership on the floor as well, and really helping his teammates in a variety of different ways. It's just something, very special to see. I mean, looking at, some comparisons with, who he is as a player, really see him like individually as a guy like AJ Brahma, who in his last season before he left the program in 2021, we saw him, like I said, take control, and this is something that we see Spear doing the same, putting up impressive lines, but also looking at the bigger picture as a whole as well, really being able to produce for himself and for his team, and also being able to be that leader on the floor as well. And I think just being able to build this program back up to what it was before it joined the Horizon League, I think it's just really special to see right before our eyes.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see how Colonial Spear does for the rest of the season.
Thank you guys for that in-depth look about Colonial Spear. Well, yesterday was National Women's Day in sports, so shout out to all the females. And when we come back, we will be jumping back into some women's basketball. So stay tuned here on CSC.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
To Colonial Sports Center. Earlier this week, Colby Sherwin sat down with RMU women's basketball player Rebecca Duomo to talk about her play so far this season. Colby, take it away.
Joining me today, sophomore guard of the women's basketball team, Rebecca Duomo. Rebecca, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, going off that, what do you think playing for Great Britain, like, how did that help your game, would you say?
Oh, immensely. Like, it really did. I think from the first tryouts to like the first game that we played or the last game we played, my game changed in, well, I moved positions from like post to guard because I was always the tallest. So that transition for me, I think, was very important because I could develop my skills against like other guards that have played that position for longest, and so I did see a big change in that.
So you were saying you've seen some of the players in the academies or like the teams you played for like here in America now.
Yes.
So what's been your favorite moment playing them now since your game has changed? And do you think, not that you're better, but like, is it cool to beat them if you do beat them, is it cool to beat them, or like how does it feel?
So one that comes to mind is Emma from Detroit Mercy. She's like really one of my really close friends, and we recently just played each other, and it was just fun to, obviously we're rivals right now. We're not so good playing together anymore. But it was just fun, like seeing how much we've all developed and like come to be the players we are now. When we played together, it was more just a learning phase, and I think like now it's more of, okay, I've developed this, I can actually show it in my game. So it was really fun. It was good. I don't know.
But going off all the traveling, out of all the teams in the Horizon League, where's your favorite place to travel? Like, what is there a place that you think has the best views, or you like their gym the best?
I really like Green Bay.
Okay.
I like the court, but I don't like traveling there. It was very long travel.
But you're part of 5 sophomores on the roster this year. The team is really young. Did you take like a leadership step up this year, or do you think, like, how do you think the team dynamic is this year, leadership-wise?
It's definitely very different. Of course, having so many seniors and upperclassmen you could look up to from last year that have left this year, it's we've all had to, like you said, step up in a sense. I don't think I have much of a leadership role. I think it's more of a collective thing. So everyone knows that we're lacking the seniors in the team and like the growth and knowledge. But at the same time, so we all decided to, okay, we know what we have to do. We learned from the people that were here last year, and so we just could like hold each other accountable in that sense. So.
What drew you to RMU? From traveling all over the world, you lived in different countries. How did you get to Robert Morris?
So I took a gap year kind of because of COVID. So I should be a junior, but I took a gap year, and so in the process of like speaking to the coaches and stuff, once I spoke to Coach B and like the coaching staff, I think I was facilities. The facilities are really good, I just have to say. And then I just really connected to the way like the standards that we have as a team, like the values. I think that's something I've always lived with, and like back home and in my house, like values is something that we really like give importance to. So I think that was the main thing, and like having that sense of like a family and like unity and all of that. So I think that was the main thing. Of course, the facilities, and I think that was the main.
Thank you so much, Colby, for sitting down with Rebecca Duomo. Staying on with the women's basketball team, one thing that's been plaguing this team is the injuries, and the latest injury goes to Paris Kirk, who's officially out for the whole season, as she stated on her Instagram. Freshman, she was really talented coming in, not the way she wants to end her freshman year.
Yeah, tough break for the Colonials. They had a lot of players going down this season, and freshman, she was stepping in, filling those roles, but she just got hurt, obviously, and she was averaging 5.2 points per game, 3 rebounds, 46% from field goal, and 30% from the three-point arc. Tough break for the Colonials.
Indeed, indeed. A bunch of injuries that they have to overcome and adversity. But when we come back, we have our top 2 favorite segments, your top 5 plays, and game to watch. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to CSC. It's now time for the top 5, count 'em 5, top plays of the week. Let's go into it with number 5 here. Starting off with number 5, we got here in the Oakland game, it's Josh Gorman at the top of the key with the absolute dime to Khalil Spear. Here's another look at it. An absolute beauty of an assist to Khalil Spear.
And we're going to go right into number 4. Same matchup, Oakland versus RMU. A little early on, bounce pass to Khalil. Bam! Right on top of Oakland's Chris Conway. What a dunk by Spear.
Moving into number 3, Michael Green III finds Khalil Spear in the lane, who posters a would-be defender in Jared Little. Here's another look at it. It's the Khalil Spear show for the top 5 plays.
Well, we're going to go to number 2. Back to the matchup against Oakland. And guess who it is? Everybody get out the way. Khalil Spear with a dunk again. What a monster weekend this man had. Laying down the law on Oakland.
He's one of the top players in the Horizon League, and he proved it this weekend with 2 monster games against Detroit Mercy and Oakland. And speaking of the number 1 play, Michael Green III dribbling, finds Khalil Spear on the alley-oop dunk. My goodness, giving the dunk sign. Khalil Spear show for the top 5 plays. And Khalil Spear had an absolute monster weekend, Cam.
What a performance by him. All 5 of our spots reserved for him. He clearly deserved each one of those. Just everyone dunking on his head. And number 1 was his 1,000th point at RMU.
And speaking of Khalil Spear, the Colonials, they'll be in action this upcoming weekend as my game to watch for me is the Colonials taking on Wright State here at the UPMC Event Center. Game time is set for 7 p.m. Players to watch: Khalil Spear, who has just been on an absolute tear this past month, this past week. And then also Trey Calvin. I'm having a flu game myself. Oh my goodness. Trey Calvin for Wright State just hit a game-tying 3 not too long ago against Youngstown State in their game. Absolutely defied gravity on that shot. He'll be a player to watch for Wright State. I can't wait to watch the top-tier talent of the Horizon League duking it out. Cam, what's your game to watch?
Well, my game to watch is over in Indiana as the Colonials travel to Fort Wayne to take on the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons. My players to watch: Mackenzie Amelia played 38 out of 40 minutes. Who knows, she could play all 40 minutes this upcoming game. And she's going to be taking on Shayla Sellers with 9 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 35% from the field goal range. And last time they played, right before the new year, Purdue Fort Wayne won 52-41. Let's see if they can avenge that loss.
Yeah, you know, back to my game to watch as well. The Colonials absolutely went into Wright State and wally-whopped Wright State. It beat them by almost 30. It was a absolute beatdown. Well, folks, that is all the time we have for today here at Colonial Sports Center. For everybody upstairs, my name is Samuel Goldberg. This is Cameron McCarliola. Have a great evening and see you